Yankowitz is my name, and I live and work both at Sag Harbor. I thought it was really interesting. This is going to be a challenge. I didn't know how much of the work that I would see pictures of from time to time, what was really in the collection. And I thought, oh, well, it'll be easy. I'll just take my concept, an approach towards an installation in the room, and just find and pick artists that would work with what my initial approach would be. But then when I started researching, I found out what an extensive collection it was. And when I went to see the actual works, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is really interesting. The works are fabulous. And in a way, I felt it was like a collaboration for me, because I learned from the artworks what it was that I was interested in doing. When the first invite came out by you and your team, I really studied I tried to assess really what you were looking for, because I had been to many of these artist choose shows here for a long time, years and years. And but this seemed different to me because what I understood from it was that a recontextualization for the next century was really being sought, to perceive the works and understand them through a completely different lens, not the way you're just taking works that may look like or share one or two different issues conceptually with the artist and the artists that they chose, but a much broader concept to me seemed presented. So I really was very influenced by the writing of that particular invitation, so I took that literally and approached it. I just having people view these works in relationship to some of my works too, from different perspectives, climbing up a stairway to look down on the floors and look from above and across to the different walls, to lay on chaise lounges. Looking up, you get a totally different perspectives, and you're relating to the architecture also of these spaces, the gallery space. I felt that it was important for each wall and floor to tell a story that had its own flavor, let's say. And I learned that through the works that I had in my concept to make stories that were like there, for example, a ghost wall with Jackie Biel's panels of The Last Supper, and then in collaboration with my works, a cantilevered foot going through the wall, or a wing tongue that's a social insult coming out at you, and also a uniform that's like a ghost swinging slowly. And what it all has in common for me was this idea of wondering, what's on the other side? What's on the other side of life? What's on the other side of the walls? What's here on death row? With these artists' works, I felt this kind of frenetic kind of energy reflecting the world that we live in now, and actually have been for quite a while. And I wanted this wall to reflect the anxiety that one could experience that is found in these paintings, and also they also felt like Tara Donovan's, for example, felt like a maze where there was no beginning and no end, and just like looping everywhere, nowhere, and round and round. I just thought these pieces worked so well together, and the shade next to it, the shade drawing, it's reflecting some of these kinds of voices that are expressed in these works, the sounds of that these paintings can give. There was a secret kind of Mendel audio translation that I was involved with. Via Selman's is up there as an architectural window. It's like almost like you're looking through a skylight. I'm using it as a sculptural detail to see her beautiful twinkling stars through this frame, architectural frame there. Of course, Mary's work, which is what I was talking about, Mary Heilman, this symphonic element to it, I just found really interesting, and she was really interesting to me, Louisa Chase, because in a way, her work has an embodiment of all of what I'm reflecting here. Again, there are different stories on the wall. For this, I felt this kind of like frenetic energy and the use of color and the scratching and the friction brings about such a wide framework with which to look at her work. This is Chuck Close, and the chair is a slipped cover chair that I had made out of granite inlays and wood, and it's a very heavy set chair. And you walk in, and I feel that the chair is inviting you to sit down, and sit very close to this self-portrait of Chuck Close, and you're really like in confrontation with, that you're there. And again, it's that interaction, stories, these walls and floors are stories. I feel that the people become characters in these scripts as well, visitors to this installation, because they have to really confront what it is that they're finding. And there's Holly Solomon up there, by the way, a portrait by Max Kozloff, which I found so interesting. Interesting is Holly is up there like looking down, and it felt like this photograph that Max did it was locked in color, it was almost like a color cast, like a physical. I mean, like almost like a mummy cast, like you're locked into it, very engaged, and she's there looking down, and you're looking up at her. It's a very different perspective. I always found the artists here and the curators and the art writers very interesting. It wasn't as though I felt like, oh, New York City is where it's all happening. No. This area has always been a very exciting, interesting coming together of artists and writers, and literary writers as well, aside from art writers, and it's always been that way.